baseball reportedly has a target. Sources tell our Jeff Passan MLB and its players are increasingly focused on a plan that could allow them to start the season as early as May, a move that reportedly has the support of high-ranking federal public health officials who believe that the league can safely operate amid the coronavirus pandemic. Here is how they potentially could do that. This would be the plan. So if they were going to start in May, it would be all 30 MLB teams playing at stadiums throughout the greater Phoenix area, Matt Berry's neck of the woods, including the home of the D-backs, that would be Chase Field. Players, coaches, and other essential personnel would live in relative isolation at local hotels, and they would reportedly only travel to and from their games. Let's bring in the man that broke the story for us, our MLB insider, Jeff Passan. When and if these games do get underway, Jeff, what differences could there be from what we're used to seeing with baseball?
Well, first off, Elle, we're going to potentially see sports, and that's a good thing for everyone, but so many different things need to happen in order for this to actually come to fruition, and for us to see games that could have really big changes that don't look quite like baseball. I mean, the reason that federal public health officials back this is because they feel like baseball can be used as a model for the rest of the country on something like social distancing. So if you don't have fans in the stands, and instead of sitting next to one another in the dugout, players are sitting in the stands, that's one thing. If you don't have an umpire hovering over the catcher and the batter, and instead you have an electronic strike zone, that's another thing. I mean, there are so many different changes. As one person put it to me, this year could be like baseball on Mars. So we have to at least entertain the idea of doing this. But let's remember, all of this, Elle, is contingent on so many logistical things being figured out, and the players really committing to doing this as well, that we are quite a bit of ways off from this becoming a reality.
For the purposes of the show, let's continue to speculate. Okay, let's say that they would do this. There would probably not be a full production crew. I imagine that the games themselves would look different on TV. When you're talking to players since you broke this news, what's been their reaction?
You know, it's a mixed reaction. I talked with one player a couple days ago, just sort of floating this possibility to him, and initially he said, no way. And then yesterday I got a text back from him saying, well, I talked with my wife, and she said if it means getting paid, then I'm free to go out and do it. And I think that's the perspective of a lot of players here. They understand that if games don't get played, they don't get paid. And yet the prospect of spending a significant amount of time, potentially an entire season inside of a bubble, is really troublesome. You know, let's just look at the best player in baseball, Mike Trout. His wife is due with their first child in August. Is Mike Trout really going to miss the birth of his first child to stay inside of a quarantined biosphere to play baseball? I think these are the questions that are so difficult to answer, and the questions that in the coming weeks, as baseball tries to figure out what it's going to do, are going to be asked an awful lot.
It's certainly fascinating, the potential for a cactus league on steroids. We'll be all over it today. Jeff Passan joining us there with that reported news. Here's MLB issuing a statement today saying, in part, the health and safety of our employees, players, fans, and the public at large are paramount, and we're not ready at this time to endorse any particular format for staging games in light of the rapidly changing public health situation caused by the coronavirus.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.